Hello children, welcome to the online classes DEO Nalgonda. Children, in the last class we have studied regarding production and management of food from plants. So, is it enough to eat only the plant products such as vegetables and fruits, or still more nutrients are required? Yes, we require still more nutrients. So, do we get all the nutrients from plants itself? No, we cannot get it. So, what should be taken? So, we should have to take the food products which are coming from animals. So, today we are going to discuss about the topic, that is production and management of food from animals. So, we will be seeing in this lesson how the different types of food products are produced from animals and how they are managed. You know children, here we get variety of products from animals. So, what are those? Such as milk, meat and different types of things, isn't it so? So, now here to get different types of products, human beings have started domesticating the animals. So, there are two types of animals are there, domestic animals and as well as wild animals. So, human beings, they have started domesticating the animals for various purposes such as for the production of food or for the transportation or for the agricultural purposes. So, here let us now discuss about what are the different types of animals have been domesticated and what are the different types of products have been produced from them. So, this domestication of animals, it is not new for us. It has started from so many years back. So, let us see now here which animals have been domesticated at what time. For example, you take dog. Dog has been domesticated from the year 30,000 to nearly about 7,000 BC. So, dog, this is the animal which has been domesticated from these many years. So, that means from those many years the domestication of dog. And you know what is the use of dog? It is nothing but it protects us, it protects our houses, it protects our things, whatever the things are there. Is it okay children? Now, coming to sheep. Sheep has been started domesticating from the 11,000 to 9,000 BC. So, from this time, from this period of time, the domestication of sheep has started. Now, coming to pig. You know, pig is also domesticated for getting variety of products. It has been started domesticating from the year 9,000 BC. And goat. This has been started domesticating from the year 8000 BC. So, here like this is the period from when the domestication has been started. Is it clear children? That means what I want to say is that domestication of animals, it is not new for us. It has started so many years back. Okay. Now, what is meant by animal husbandry? I think you have heard this word. So, what is animal husbandry? So, animal husbandry means nothing but providing food, shelter and protection for the animals. So, that in turn they give products for us. We have to provide shelter, food for the animals, then they will be giving us variety of products. That process is called as animal husbandry. So, different varieties of animals, it may be cow, goat, what we say fish, pigs, birds, etc. Isn't it? So, that providing food, shelter and protection to the animals, in turn they provide us various types of food materials, that is called as animal husbandry. Is it clear children? Now, in this animal husbandry, rearing of cattle. What does cattle include? Cattle includes cows, buffaloes, ox, bulls, etc. So, rearing of this cattle is called as cattle rearing, and rearing of sheep and goat is called as sheep rearing. So, cattle rearing and as well as sheep rearing. So, here you might have seen in villages Nowadays also I think the practice is going on. All the cattle from various houses, one person will take them and they will take to the nearby village areas where a fodder is present, and they allow these animals to graze. So here that person who is appointed, he is called as cattle rearer. He is called as cattle rearer. And this man, he will be given some amount of money which is collected by the village people, and that money will be given to him as he is looking after the cattle. So now here this cattle rearer is a person who will be protecting these cattle. He will be taking to the nearby areas where fodder availability is there. Okay, if more amount of cattle is there, this is done. Whereas in case of a small farmer is there, he is having only some 3 to 4 sheep or cow, so he will be looking after it. He will be taking care after it, and he will be taking to the nearby areas where the fodder is present, and he will be allowing them to graze it, and he will be bringing back. Is it clear? So this is about the cattle rearer or cattle rearing. Now what is the use of this cattle rearing? So here not only this one here, these cattle are also affected by different types of diseases. For example, here Galikuntu disease is caused to cows, and some other disease called as Nattala Vyadhi. This disease occurs to sheep. So now here cattle rearing, in this one of the process is that the cattle should be protected from various types of diseases. Not only that one, various types of viruses will be there, various types of bacteria will be there which will be causing diseases. As if how human beings will get diseases, this animals also get disease. Anthrax disease, foot on mouth disease, different types of viruses will be causing all these diseases. So now how to protect them? So they should be frequently, they should be taken to the animal doctors, and this animal doctor, a person who look after these animals, a doctor who look after these animals, he is called as veterinary doctor. And this veterinary doctor, he will look after these animals, and he will give different types of medicines so as to protect these animals from various types of diseases. Now, what are the uses of these cattle? Most important use of this cattle or sheep is that they produce milk. So, milk production, it is the main use of this cattle. And you know that different animals will be producing milk, such as cows will be producing, buffaloes, goat, and as well as donkeys, camels, etc. In our country, India, the first place goes to cows for the production of milk. Cows will be producing more amount of milk. Is it clear? Now here, it means that the cows which are local variety cows which are present, they will be producing nearly about some 3 to 4 liters of milk per day. But some of the special breed cows, such as Murrah breed of cows, it will be producing nearly about 8 liters of milk. It is an Indian breed. Whereas coming to some exotic breeds such as Holstein and Jersey. Jersey cow is from England and Holstein cow is from Denmark. These cows, these are exotic foreign breeds. They will be producing nearly about 20 liters of milk per day. Whereas our cows are producing 8 liters and these cows are producing 20 liters. So as to get more amount of milk, crossbreeding is done in between these cows. Crossbreeding. And the cows which are being produced after crossbreeding, they are producing nearly about 8 to 20 liters of milk per day. Like this, the milk production has been increased. And not only that one, see, various other techniques have been also followed to improve the milk production. You know that as the population is going on increasing enormously, the production of milk is not enough. So what has to be done? The production of milk has to be increased. How it can be increased? By following various techniques. And one of the famous man, his name is Professor J. Kurian. This man helped more in increasing the milk production, and the process of increasing the milk production, that revolution is called as White Revolution. So Professor J. Kurian is considered as the father of White Revolution. So like this, the milk production has been increased enormously. And a country named as Israel. Israel is in the first place for the production of milk. So it is producing more amount of milk production per year has been seen more in case of Israel. And not only that one here, whatever the milk has been collected, that will be what we say here, it will be done undergoing a process called as pasteurization. So as to protect the milk from various types of viruses or bacteria here, not to spoil, the milk undergoes a process called as pasteurization. So pasteurization, it is nothing but it is a process where the destruction of pathogens takes place, where the milk is boiled up to a high temperature of nearly about 72 degrees centigrade, and immediately it will for about half an hour, and then immediately the temperature is brought down. Due to these fluctuations in temperature, high temperature and low temperature, the disease causing organisms, that is pathogens or which are spoiling the milk, they will be died, and this process is called as pasteurization. So pasteurization is a process to protect the milk. And now you might have seen in villages. In villages, what the people will be doing? They will be collecting the milk from their animals, and they will be taking it to the nearby chilling centers. And these chilling centers, they will buy this milk, and they will be taking this milk, and they will be making the process called as pasteurization, and they will be storing the milk and supplying to different places. So this is about how milk production takes place. So this is one of the main benefit of cattle rearing. And not only that one here, still other processes are also, uses are also there with the help of this cattle farming. What is the other use is that the production of meat. Production of meat. So you know that the meat is produced by different types of cattle. For example, the meat which is produced by the cows, buffaloes, is called as beef. It is called as beef. And the meat which is produced by the sheep and goat, it is called as mutton. And the meat which is produced by the pig is called as pork. So like this here, different types of meat is being produced by this cattle. So we can get milk from this cattle, we can get meat from this cattle. Apart from this, the skin of these animals, it is used in the leather industry. Leather industry. It is useful for making different types of variety of items such as belts, handbags, chappals, etc. Not only skin, another product is also there, that is bones. You know, bones of these animals, after death of these animals, the bones which are present, they are useful for making fertilizers. And these fertilizers are used in agriculture so that their productivity can be increased. Apart from this, the waste which is coming from the animals, that is the fecal matter of these animals, is useful for producing a gas called as biogas. And this biogas is useful as a fuel. So these are the various uses or various products which are obtained from the cattle. What are the various products? That is, the first one is milk. Milk is produced and meat is produced. Skin is also useful. bones are also useful, and biogas is also produced from it, so that it can be used as a fuel for cooking purpose. In villages, most of the people depend upon this biogas. Is it clear, children? Have you understood? So this is about cattle rearing, or it is called as sheep rearing. And one more thing is, what is meant by livestock? Livestock means nothing but the animals which are useful for production of milk, and as well as they are also useful in the agricultural purpose. That is for carrying out various agricultural activities also. So those animals which are useful for both milk production and for agricultural activities, they are called as livestock. Okay, now the next one. Poultry. So before going to poultry, I want to say one more variety of cattle is there, that is which is seen in Odisha. In Odisha, one type of cattle called as Chilaka breed. Chilaka breed. This breed will be feeding during the night times in the brackish water. So brackish water means the water which is somewhat mixed of sea water and river water. So that water is called as a brackish water. So here this Chilaka breed feeds on the brackish water, and this breed is not allowed to cross with the Murrah. So they don't want to cross with the Murrah, they'll keep this breed only. And now the milk which is produced from this breed of cows, the milk which is produced, it is somewhat salty in taste, and it can be stored nearly for about 7 days without any refrigeration. Without refrigeration process, this milk can be stored. So this is the speciality of the Chilaka breed which is famous in Odisha. Is it clear, children? Now let us come to the next one, that is poultry. What is meant by poultry? Production and rearing of birds on a large scale is called as poultry. So poultry means nothing but production and rearing of birds. Birds on a large scale is called as poultry. And now here, this poultry, there are two types of birds are grown. The birds which are grown for the egg purpose, they are called as layers. And the birds which are grown for meat purpose, they are called as broilers. And you know that the meat of poultry is called as chicken. Is it clear? And now here, mostly this poultry, it is also a small industry. Not only that one, village people also will be rearing the hens. Have you seen? So they are called as Natukolu. And our India is in 4th position in egg production. It is in 4th position in egg production, whereas it is in 5th place in meat production. It is in 5th place in meat production. So here how many number? 41.06 millions of eggs. This many millions of eggs are produced per annum. So by that it is ranking in the 4th position. Whereas nearly about 1000 million cages, 1000 million cages of meat is produced and standing in the 5th position. So this is about our ranking in poultry. And here the different types of birds are there. So here the local varieties are Asil, Chittagong, all those. And Asil is the famous breed that is called as Berisakodi. It is the traditional variety which is useful for fighting purpose. So here so many varieties are there, local varieties such as Asil, Chittagong, Kadaknath, These are local varieties. Whereas some of the exotic breeds are also say, such as New Hampshire, White Plymouth, and Rhode Island. So these are foreign breeds. So this is about the what we say here, poultry. And here you might have seen that these poultry also will be suffering from various types of diseases. If one of the chick get the or hen get a disease, automatically it spreads to all other, and it may lead to the downfall of this industry. Nowadays you might have heard a disease called as bird flu, isn't it? Bird flu is occurring more, which is leading to the death of the many of the birds, and they are warning us not to take those type of poultry which are suffering from those diseases. And egg production, mostly the egg production, when it will be egg will be what we say here, the normally whatever the eggs we get, what they will be doing, either they will be consuming it or they will be brooding it. Normally the hens will be sitting over this in the months of January to April, especially in January to April. This is the best season for brooding of the hen. During that time, as the the egg availability is less. So that is why what is happening, the rate of eggs will be more during that time, because the availability of eggs will be less. And one of the organization, that is NECC. What is meant by NECC? National Egg Coordination Committee. So this NECC, this is National Egg Coordination Committee. This helps in knowing or explaining what is the importance of egg, and if you want to be a healthy person, eat everyday egg. This is the slogan of NECC, and one of the famous slogan is also there, Ande khao kande badao, that is take the eggs and increase your body mass and all those things. So egg is a wholesome food, and it consists of all the nutrients, and it is available for all the people, so it is a healthy food. Is it clear, children? Now, apart from this birds, some other birds such as emu, I think you have heard this one. Emu culture is also taking place nowadays. Emu is the flightless bird. It is first flightless birds which is of higher heavy in weight is ostrich. Second comes to emu, and emu bird here, this will be weighing nearly about 50 kgs and will be running about 40 miles per hour. Emu farming nowadays, it has gained much importance, and it is grown in various places such as Adilabad, Medak, Nalgonda, etc. And its meat and egg are also of more cost, they are of more cost, and nowadays this emu market is going on. So this is about what we say here, poultry. Poultry means nothing but rearing and rearing the birds for the production of various types of products is called as poultry. So this is about poultry. Now, the next one is here, what is meant by apiculture. This apiculture is also called as beekeeping. So here rearing of honeybees for the production of honey is called as apiculture. This is otherwise also called as beekeeping. And there are variety of honeybees are there, such as Apis dorsata. The scientific name of honeybee is Apis dorsata, Apis mellifera. So like this, variety of honeybees are there. And these honeybees, they will be taking the nectar of the flowers. They will be taking the nectar of the flowers and help in the synthesis of this honey. So that rearing of honeybees is called as apiculture. And now, from where this nectar will come? So this nectar come from the flowers of different flowers of plants. They will be producing this honey, what we say nectar, that will be collected by these honey bees. And here that plants which are useful for the production of honey, they are called as bee florae. They are called as bee florae. And there are three types. So this honeybees, they are, what we say here, they are also social animals. So like ant, they are also social animals, and there are three types of bees are there. So what are three types of bees? Let us see here. The three type of bees are queen bees, worker bees, and drones. So queen bee, only one queen bee will be there in the complete beehive, and worker bees will be there, and as well as drones. Drones are nothing but the male bees, and worker bees are nothing but the sterile females. Sterile females. And this queen bee lives nearly about some 2 to 3 years, whereas worker bee lives nearly about some 60 days, 57 to 60 days. And this drones, they lives about some 6 to 8 weeks. 6 to 8 weeks. So here now, what is the function of queen bee? The main function of queen bee is it just lay the eggs. It just lay the eggs. How many eggs are being laid? Nearly about 800 to 1200 eggs are laid per day. 800 to 1200 eggs are laid per day. Then what is the function of drones? Just the drone will be helping in the process of fertilization. It will be undergoing the process of, it just makes the queen bee fertilized. So immediately after that it will die. Now what is the function of worker bee? Worker bee, after what, it has many functions. What it will do? It just collect the honey, it protect the beehive, it protect the, it look after the babies which are produced by the queens. So all those are the functions of the worker bees. So this is here regarding about different types of bees which are seen in the case of beehive. So this main thing is they will collect the honey, and you might have seen these beehives will be present to plants, big trees they will be there, and they will be collecting the honey from. Apart from this, nowadays artificial beehiving is also done. So here they are the farmers, what they are doing is they are preparing an artificial beehive which is having double wall or single walled broods will be there. In that they are collecting the honeybees and they are leaving it, and so that they can easily collect the honey, and more amount of honey is also being produced and no wastage will be there. So these are the benefits of artificial beehive. Apart from the honey, some other products are also produced from the bees. What are those? Bee venom and bee wax. What is the use of bee wax? Bee wax, it is used for polishing. It is used in nail polishes, shoe polish, etc. Then what is the use of bee venom? Bee venom, it is used in the preparation of Apis tincture, which is used in homeopathic treatment. It is bee venom, it is used in the production of Apis tincture. Apis tincture, which is useful for the homeopathic treatment. So this is regarding about what is called as apiculture or beekeeping. Hope you have understood, children. So till now we have seen regarding cattle rearing, poultry, and as well as beekeeping. Now the important one and the next one which we are going to discuss is here is about fisheries. So fisheries here, it is nothing but rearing the fishes, growing the fishes is called as fisheries, and this is otherwise also called as pisciculture. Pisciculture. And there are two types. So here you know that our country India, it is having a longest coastline, nearly about 7,500 kilometers about coastline is there, where here we can see variety of fishes will be there, and so that all this area, it is a coastal area where the sea water is present, and the fisheries which is called as marine fishery. Here the is called as marine fisheries. We get there different types of marine fishes here, such as what we say here, sardines, mackerels, crustaceans. So here these are the different varieties of fishes we can be marine fishes, and many of the people will be having their occupation as this fishing only. So here some of them, they will just take the nets and they will be taking collecting the fishes with the help of normal boats. But on a large scale they will be using mechanized boats also. So these mechanized boats are useful for capturing more amount of fishes. Not only this, what we say here, the fisheries will be taking place in the coastal areas, but inside the country also we have different rivers, lakes, ponds, where fishing can be done, and this fishery is called as inland fisheries. Inland fisheries. And in inland fisheries we get different types of fishes, such as what we say katla, marrel, corraminu. So all these are different types of fishes we will be getting it. And here not only fishes but also prawns, oysters, that type of aquaculture is also being done along with this fisheries. So here now this what we say here, sometimes nowadays what they are doing is, along with the paddy, you know, paddy, we have already seen in the last class that in paddy the water should be still, more amount of water should be present, so that the paddy has to grow, isn't it? So in that water what they are doing is they are cultivating fishes also. So that type of culture where paddy and fishes will be grown, that type of culture is called as paddy cum pisciculture. Paddy cum pisciculture. And this pisciculture can be done in two types. There are two types of piscicultures are there. Let us see what are the two types of piscicultures. If only one type of fish is grown, only one type of fish, one variety of fish is grown, then that culture is called as monoculture. If more than 3 to 4 varieties of fishes are grown, more than one variety, then that culture is called as composite fish culture. So in the composite fish culture, for example, a pond is there. So in this pond here the water will be present, isn't it so? So now here different varieties of fish will be grown so that they should not compete among themselves for food and other things. So that is why different varieties of fish will be grown. For as example, cutlas. These fishes are surface feeders. They will be feeding on the surface itself. This type of fish will be growing on the what we say here, surface, and they will be feeding on the surface feeders. And rohus. These fish will be grown in the middle zone, so that they will be feeding on that. Mrigals and common carps. Mrigals and common carps, they are bottom feeders. So here, and not only that one, grass carps. Grass carps, they will be feeding on the weeds. They will be feeding on the weeds. So like this here, the different types of fishes will be grown in one pond itself. That type of culture is called as composite fish culture. But the thing is that we should have to select such type of fishes, they which are having different types of feeding habits, and they will be living in different positions in the ponds. Though we are doing this one, again a problem is there with this composite fish culture. What is that problem is that whenever these fish, they will be producing the eggs, all the eggs gets mixed up. And while collecting the eggs, we may get different varieties of fishes. We don't get a particular variety of fish. So here that is the only problem with the main problem with this composite fish culture. But nowadays also that problem has also been solved. How? Because they are injecting some injections to these fishes so that they will be ovulating or they will be producing the eggs only a particular time. So at that time those eggs which are collected, they will be of a particular type of fish. The next time they will be injecting for other fish. So like that here this problem is also being solved. So here this is about what we called it as pisciculture. And fish, it is a highly perishable food and it is a very rich food which is having vitamin A. And this food, it can be what we say here, it is very important, and there are different methods of storing or using this fish for future use, such as smoking, drying, pickling and pit curing are some of the methods which are useful for preserving these fishes. So this is about different types of techniques, growing the different types of food products from different animals. So animal husbandry, poultry, fish culture, bee culture, all these are the major practices which are helpful in food production, and government is also providing different schemes so that the youth has to take these what we say here, this type of occupation, so that we can increase the productivity. And one of the revolution called as Blue Revolution was developed so as the increase the production of fish. So Blue Revolution is that revolution which helped in increasing the fish production. So this is about this. Have you understood, children? So till now, let us recapitulate once again what we have seen. So here food is produced not only from the plants, it is also produced from the animals. And animal husbandry is a process where the rearing and looking after these animals takes place so that they can produce the various types of food products for us. Rearing of cattle is called as cattle rearing, and rearing of sheep is called as sheep rearing. And the animals which are useful for producing the milk and as well as for agricultural purposes, they are called as livestock. Rearing and looking after the birds is called as poultry, and the birds which are grown for the eggs are called as layers, and the birds which are grown for the meat are called as broilers. And production of honey is called as beekeeping or apiculture. Apart from this, rearing of fishes is called as pisciculture, and sometimes this pisciculture is done along with the paddy crops, that is called as paddy cum pisciculture. Apart from the fishes, some other aquatic products such as prawns and oysters, all these are grown. That culture is called as aquaculture. And Professor J. Kurian is considered as the father of white revolution, who helped to increase the, by various techniques, he helped in how to increase the productivity of milk. Hope you have understood, children. Thank you.